Aaron Orendorff, welcome to Germany, welcome to Berlin, welcome to Scale. Great to have you here.
Well, you're the man that's responsible for bringing me out here. I mean, I don't think you signed any of the checks, but you absolutely connected me, so I'm delighted to be here. Thanks.
No, it's a real pleasure. I mean, we've been collaborating, connected for such a long time, and what I can say, it's amazing to have you here as a friend, and thanks for being here, honestly. Perfect. Aaron, you're even named as an influencer by Forbes, which is a big thing. Well, I'm totally impressed, and I'm so glad that we're friends where I can say, wow, so much to learn from you. What interests me is we got a big shift in marketing right now we're going through. Like, companies are really thinking, how do they structure each other here? And also in terms of data, how do they use it for the future? The buying process, we're no longer only thinking in terms of search, we're thinking in terms of the whole media. Yeah. So a lot of thinking what can be done different. And what is your feeling? What went wrong in the past?
I think the best way to think about it, and I love the phrase you used, whole media, because so many old school approaches, which is a lot of what MBA programs or marketing programs are going to teach you, are built around a model that's simply outdated. That isn't a whole media model. And it doesn't mean they don't take into account things like the internet. I mean, they're going to talk about that, but they approach it from this captive audience perspective that you really used to have when print and television owned everything, right? You had a captive audience that really couldn't say no to you. They had to sit through and maybe get up and go to the bathroom, but it was going to be there for 5 minutes or 8 minutes for every 30 minutes, right? It was going to show up. And the reality now is that audience is no longer captive by the medium itself, and it puts this onus, this stress on marketing itself, advertising itself, to give them a reason, a valid reason, whether it's entertainment, whether it's some sort of education, or just a distraction, to stick around and not leave or click away or walk away.
And there's a key term which we're both connected to, killing marketing right now. Your friends, or our friends, Joe Pullizi and Robert Rose, were writing a book which says it's even about killing marketing. What's your feeling about that when we look into the future? Is it really going to be killing marketing, or what's going to become?
Well, you can't say something like deflating marketing, particularly advertising, for the sake of new media online ventures, because that doesn't sell a lot of books. So you got to go after it. You got to say it's killing marketing. But even Joe and Robert in the book mentioned that it's not going to die. It's never going to go completely away. What's happening, though, is because the audiences are no longer captive, that disruptive or interruptive element of marketing, where I get to come in and stop your flow of thought, stop your desires, stop whatever it is you're actively doing and pursuing. I get to stop it and make you pay attention to me, has lost its force. And that's where something like content marketing, which is marketing, it's still salesmanship. Right? Something like content marketing is saying, what is my audience already after? What are the pains they're already experiencing? What are the pleasures they're already pursuing? And so how do I align that with the medium or the channel that they're on, whether that's social on Facebook or Instagram, what are they there for? Whether that's through YouTube, proactive paid advertising, search, SEO, all of these things are trying to capitalize on the intent that the audience already has. And that's the big difference. That's why you're never going to kill marketing or advertising, and even in the best sense of the word, direct response is still very much alive, especially through Facebook advertising. Like, oh my God, that's the renaissance of direct response copywriting. But it's that alignment. Rather than trying to get somebody to stop what they're doing and start doing my thing, it's keep doing your thing because I do your thing really well. So come on over here and check it out.
And with that big data thing that's driving then marketing more and more, what's your impression about KPIs, which have been so important in the past, like awareness recognition? Well, compared moving forward, everyone's thinking now in customer journeys and so on. Do we have to drop some old thinking, or?
I really get nervous when I hear people talk about awareness or even the word branding outside of thinking about branding as what is the story that your product or your company is telling. Now, I love thinking about branding in that sense, but awareness campaigns freak me out because I've just seen far too many of my own clients, and I've farmed them out. I've been part of the process. I've said, they said, hey, we're going to launch a product. We need somebody to cover it. Do you know anybody? And I've hooked them up with PR agencies, and I've seen those $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 checks just go up into the air with fingers crossed, and like a couple of articles come out over it. And it's a bit better with things like influencer marketing, but what I push hard on is we've got to be able to tie it to like you said, a KPI. Now, some of that can simply be brand awareness as long as it's tied to follower counts, engagement numbers, particularly spontaneous responses. You know, when somebody writes back to a post, it doesn't just click the like or the retweet or the regram. When somebody writes back and engages, that is such a golden opportunity, and it's such a stretch for them. So as long as it's tied to real hardcore metrics like that, I get a little less nervous, but I'm always about, okay, then how do we attribute that to the sign up, capturing their email address, getting them to click through, and ultimately, how does that filter down to the bottom of the funnel?
And final question related to that, as you're also saying, you're still seeing those campaigns that are purely focused on awareness and so on. How is the pace going in terms of the transformation in that direction? Isn't it a little bit slow, how the companies are moving in that direction? How do you feel? What do you think?
It's always slow. I mean, the larger the organization, the slower the movement. And it's that whole idea that money can really be a curse. I mean, when you have money to throw at something, often that's what people do. And like I said, I've been part of the problem. I've been that kind of like, yes, throw money at this thing. Or, but growth hacking initiatives, agile initiatives, especially agile marketing initiatives inside organizations, not just sustaining organizations, but innovative, disruptive organizations. And I'm just finishing up the influence or the innovators solution, which is a fantastic read about the difference between sustaining and growth. And to actually create new growth, that's such a requirement that unless a company is just focused on sustaining, and there's plenty of money to be made in sustaining, but it's not a long-term trajectory that creates new growth opportunities. And simply, failure is what pushes most companies to say, okay, this didn't work this time around. How do we do a better ad spend or marketing investment? So it's slow, and the more money you have, the slower it goes. And some people are getting very rich off of that. But to be able to show those results is becoming more, well, it's encouraging to see that happening.